Greetings to all the birdies out there and welcome to a schematics trailer analysis video. Before I forget to introduce ourselves, I'm BillyMFMays, joined by the two bogeymen here, Advo and BlindIRL. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
You know, he did say that we were going to hate the intro, and yeah, I hate the intro.
Well, I'm glad to have you guys here anyways, and today we're looking at a game called Boss Golf by Gus Martin. So let's take a look at the trailer and we'll be right back with you guys on the green. So without further ado. And we're back. So as usual, let's take a look at the trailer at half speed and give our commentary. So let's dive in.
So, sim golf, anybody?
Yeah, looks like it.
I think one of the most asked for games that I see constantly is just sim golf. Sim golf, like when's somebody going to make a new sim golf? Like seriously, when can we get a new sim golf? And this is like, I think the first kind of attempt at that I've seen. 9 seconds? Okay, let's pause here.
Okay, so we have tiles and we can put them anywhere we want and select whatever we want. That's interesting.
Just be sure to keep off of it.
Yeah, at least off the grass. And play in the sand.
This looks kind of like he's selected an area here, and that's going to be your course, I would assume, and then you can select the different pieces, like you know, sand pits or various types of green, and I'm sure they'll have different effects.
Yeah, it seems like it's there's tall grass and just mowed grass as well, instead of like the actual green for extra hazards, also sand and dirt traps.
Let's unpause.
Be interesting to see water.
Yeah, I don't think there is any water in this trailer now that I think about it. We've got pretty nice little terraforming tools.
That's actually the interesting part, because the terraforming tools doesn't look like it's tile based.
And then there's these pathways.
But the path we see here is tile based again, so it's interesting.
It's like pseudo tile based because you can move diagonally and it doesn't seem like it's that restrictive.
Yeah.
And then there's the actual like management side where you manage your guests. We should pause like right here at 30 seconds, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
So if we have a peek here, like here's the actual tycoon side of the game. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
You've got, you know, your standard profit loss and your incomes. You've got your expenditure, your salaries, your prices for your employees and whatnot. Kind of look in the background here, or even if we go back a few more seconds to kind of 27 seconds, you kind of get a pretty good idea of what your courses are going to look like. We've got what looks like 2 separate courses. I don't actually know the proper golf terminology, so you're going to have to forgive me here.
Wait, you're not playing golf every weekend?
I'm not an American president.
Oh boy.
Me neither.
Yeah, my stepbrother plays a lot of golf, but I have learned absolutely nothing from him. So
I kind of wonder about the building. I am guessing that's for the golf club. Does it have any effects, or is it just for the looks?
So at the very beginning, we saw kind of like the little static buildings. So maybe it like changes as you upgrade or gets bigger. Maybe you can like add stuff onto it, like, I don't know, restaurants or something.
Or you can add maybe even satellite facilities later on, which would be interesting.
Just be like, here's a giant bar for like the people who spend way too much to come to this golf club.
And like the building seems really simple. You know, I mean, you can make very beautiful things from the looks of it. Like I like the look of this golf course, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be that hard to make. So, you know, I think most of the gameplay is going to come from, you know, if we go back to 30 seconds or so, you know, the management side of everything. And I'd like to see how that's balanced, because at the end of the day, if your gameplay is just, oh, I just need to click an up arrow or click a down arrow, you're not really making large infrastructure plans or large construction changes. It might feel a little shallow,
to
say the least.
I think that's kind of one of the concerns that I have about this game going in, is it does seem kind of like it's going to be really difficult to kind of strike a balance between, you know, just the actual building side of it and the, you know, playing your own golf holes and the actual management side of it. Like, Sim Golf was a really neat game for its time, but it's one of those games that I sometimes, like, I haven't gone back to it in a really long time, so I sometimes wonder how well it's aged. And I think that in order to keep a game like this very compelling, unless you're genuinely going for really, really, really short gameplay time, because you could do that, you know, have a game like this that's kind of designed to, oh, you know, you pick it up for 15 minutes, you play a couple holes of golf and build a golf course, and then, you know, maybe close out and call a day on it. If you're going for that kind of gameplay time, yeah, I mean, this could be a really good a framework for that, you know. But if you want a more in-depth, like something I'm going to sit down and play for 2 hours straight, you kind of, as Billy said, you do need a little bit more going on there than just the kind of pick up and play, make some holes, hit some balls, make some bad innuendo.
You have to deal with more dynamic situations, which I'm sure this game would probably have, because those are kind of like a staple to most management games is, hey, you have to have something to go wrong to test your ability to adapt.
Oh no, giant Sharknado flies over your course, which I'd be totally fine with.
I don't know about that. I mean, we might have to just settle for like a bunch of swordfish flying in.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I mean, you do have to duel them after all.
I do like the fact that income and expenditure are separate. Because I think a lot of management games that I play, it's in the same chart, and sometimes, or it's actually just the same stat. Like it doesn't balance your expenses and the money you make. It just says, oh, this is the amount of money you made last month. And it's like, oh, this doesn't tell me anything. I'm glad that the information is at least separate, and I can't see the rest of the tabs, but I hope that it's organized very well.
I agree. Let's unpause. Yeah. So, okay,
so we can play.
Now we play golf.
So let's talk about the visuals here for a second here. What do you guys think of the visuals?
It's simple, very blocky.
This for me, I think, let's pause at like 38 seconds, right, when you see a little dude playing golf. I think for me, it kind of goes in the direction that I don't like when it comes to the blocky, Minecrafty, simple graphics look. Like, I think there isn't enough detail here for me. I think it's kind of ugly looking. I'm going to be honest with you. It's definitely not the selling point of the game for me.
No, it doesn't. It actually isn't. And I think the art style is not very coherent. If you look at the super blocky dude, it looks like straight out of Minecraft, and so does the normal trees, but the ones we see here are kind of not so blocky.
I mean, it's probably just pre-bought assets, which is fine. If the gameplay is unique, sometimes you have to make those shortcuts because this is a one-man team basically. So,
and then we have title screen. I think my issue kind of arises when you kind of look closely at the ground textures and you can see like textures kind of overlapping other textures, and it just doesn't look good. This is a trailer for an early access game that is, you know, very unfinished. You know, if you go back and look at old Parkitect trailers or a lot of old trailers for games that were in unfinished states at the time, this has a long way to go. But I think that, you know, with a little bit of polish around the edges and maybe some slightly better assets, I think this game could look really cool.
I mean, we should keep in mind the trailer was released in late May, and now it's almost December, so who knows how it looks now.
The early access release is going to be February. Fair enough. You guys, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys in the next video, so take care.
Bye.
Bye.